A big update coming in from the United States of America. It's a relief for the Adani Group from the Trump administration. The government has paused a foreign bribery law, which means in turn there were investigations with regard to that on the Adani Group, specifically, of course, on the industrialist. Biden had charged, remember, Gautam Adani under a foreign bribery law. Trump has decided to pull back on that, on the law basically. He's paused the foreign bribery law. And that could actually impact the Adani case in America as well. It's a potential impact to the Trump's suspension. The law basically is the Foreign Corruption Practices Act, FCPA. And with a ban on that enforcement, it's significant, particularly for companies like the Adani Group. And Trump has said, and I quote it here, Biden bribe law was a disaster. It hurt our business ties. That's the big news coming in, completely radically opposite from what the Biden administration has done, one after another. Remember, Donald Trump isn't wasting time. What he believes that his voters want or what he thinks will make America great again, he's taking one decision after another, whether it comes about tariff or immigration or any of those issues, including changing Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Within days, we have seen Donald Trump in many ways changing the face of how the situation was barely 2 months ago in the United States of America. In the latest now, this isn't about one individual or another, but what Trump administration has done is they have decided to suspend the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FCPA enforcement, and that could possibly bring a relief to the Adani Group because Biden, remember, barely a few months ago had initiated a case and charging Gautam Adani and his group over the same law. Shashank Mattu joins me for the latest on that. Shashank, this is very interesting. Now, in what way can a decision taken by Trump administration on one law possibly impact an Indian industrialist?
Well, yes, absolutely. I think that there are 2 points to the Adani case. Of course, the first is the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and the Trump administration has been very clear that this policy of going after American enterprises for what they do on foreign soil is impacting their business competitiveness. So now what's going to happen is that over the next 180 days, the Attorney General of the United States is going to take a look at this law, look at the guidelines and see whether how it should be changed, whether it should be kept around. So that it's state at this point that is uncertain, but its enforcement is suspended. So that can have an impact on the Adani Group. Of course, the group generally also has another case against it for fraud, for lying to U.S. regulatory authorities and to investors that they were in fact under investigation for something like this. So that part of the trouble for the Adani Group does not go away, but the suspension of enforcement for FCPA does, at first glance, reduce some of the burdens that the Adani Group will be facing with its case to the United States.
All right, Shashank, also tell me this, as we are looking at these developments, do you think that it may in some way also be a boost to India-US relationship at a time when Prime Minister Modi is going to be there in the next 24 hours?
I think that certainly this was in the final months of the Biden administration. There were a series of difficulties. When you look at what happened in Bangladesh, when you look at the Adani Group case, it did add a little bit of distrust, and it didn't sometimes appreciate some of the public atmosphere and the atmospherics around the India-US relationship, given how important a part the Adani Group is to parts of India's industrial strategy and taking on projects abroad. So there was some concern about the timing of these projects, whether this was in fact motivated politically, whether this was a statement. So it does afford the opportunity to make sure that this does not remain an irritant in the bilateral relationship, but as the Department of Justice of the United States has made clear that it is generally independent of political interference, and so there is an independent judicial process. So they will say that this is not in any way politically motivated, but it does afford the opportunity to remove an irritant and improve the public atmosphere around the India-US relationship.
All right, Shashank, keep tracking all the latest on this. And remember, could there be many more decisions that in one way or another will benefit India, and especially with Prime Minister Modi's visit? What can we expect from Donald Trump administration? Remember, this is suspension of a law, and indirectly that does bring certain relief for Adani for now.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.